Well, you might have seen just lately that I got the Aliens, Another Glorious Day in the Core board game. Yeah, got the game, painted the miniatures. A lot of fun, both to do the miniatures and to play the game. And I knew I'd come back. You have a number of missions with the folk that you get. This is, I think, this is the first of the expansions. Aliens, get away from her, you be star 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 H exclamation mark. All right. Yeah, I think this is the first of the expansions, and what you get is a whacking great big box. I wasn't expecting the expansion box to be as big as the regular game box, but it is. And what you get here are more floor tiles, more missions, more miniatures. The Queen, the Power Loader, Ripley and Newt, Bishop, Arthur Bishop. All right. And this is a unboxing. Weighs a ton, yet again. I don't know if I can do this one-handed. Excuse me while I put my phone down and lift it up like so. There we go. Right, so inside we have the rule book. Not as big as the original, but as it's basically. Oh no! Look, you do get more stuff. I was going to say it can't be much, but 4 game boards, more endurance cards, 25 motion tracker cards. Blimey, a willpower dial, hive card organizer. Oh, there is a lot more. Power loader stats overlay. Oh, I see. So that goes over. Oh, that will be fun. You can put this over any of the characters and that becomes their stats. Okay. So you can have Bishop in the Power Loader. Can you have Newt? I guess you can have Newt in the Power Loader. There's an APC tile. There's the miniatures. Let's have a quick look then. Queen Assembly Guide gets her own one-sided piece of paper to explain. The Queen looks good fun, but number 1, she's small, and number 2, she's rather chunky. Let's see if that's true in the flesh stroke plastic. Power Loader, that's going to be fun trying to, I guess you've got to paint Ripley first and the Power Loader parts first as well before pushing together. That's not exactly a challenge with Bishop though. Bishop Assembly Guide is like put him on his base. Enraged Ripley. Oh, this is when she's opening fire with a pulse rifle then. Okay, there we are. Enraged Ripley and Bishop. Lots of counters. Yeah, that's the grunt version. You need to know the game to know what that means. Yeah, we get eggs this time. More computer terminals. Holes in the floor, that's new. More dials. Okay. Oh, that's the inside of the APC. I gotcha. It's placements for. So it's not just. I know one of the missions in this is you've got to maneuver the Queen onto the airlock, open the airlock so she drops in, and then open the outer door. But there's more, isn't there? Yeah, because that's the power plant. That's the power plant. And that's the. Oh, look, dropship. Hurrah. Okay. Dropship again. Oh, this is up on the. That's the airlock. That's the airlock you've got to drop her into. Oh, that's nice. I wonder it's heavy with all these tiles. More of the colony, more of the power station. And these are the missions, all cellophaned up. 2 lots of cards. Let's have a look at the miniatures. So, ooh, is that the underside of her? Is that her throat, I guess? Yeah, it is. She is a bit chunky. Oh, it hasn't got a label. All the others tell you who the character is. It doesn't say Queen Alien. And then here, oh, Ripley and you are one sculpt. This must be for the power loader. And these are all the power loader pieces. There's Ripley in the power loader. Oh, that's a really good likeness. That's a better likeness than the Ripley I did in the regular set. There's Bishop. Come on, Bishop. That's not bad either. That's going to be fun doing him all milky. So, all right, let's start snipping of the sprues, and I'll come back with them assembled. Okay, just like I did with the basic set, I've just blue tacked the characters down to their bases, just for ease of painting. So yeah, Bishop, plop him on the base. Arthur Bishop, plop him onto the base. Oh, I've just noticed I've got to clean up a little spur there. All right, definitely taking him off the base as well. This Ripley and Newt was quite involved. You had to stick Newt's left leg on. You had to stick the flamethrower to the pulse rifle, and that blue tack down. So all good to go there. Yeah, the Queen. Yeah, she's rather stocky. Personally, I'd rather have seen a slightly bigger one, but it is what it is, and that face isn't elongated enough. It's too plump. A lot of these parts are push fit, and the arms are push fit. All right, they're nice and tight, and I haven't glued them in place because I'm thinking it's going to be a lot easier to paint if I pull the arms off and do them separately. All right, so that's the Queen, and then there's the power loader, and I've had a bit of a problem here in that, well, for a start, the part numbers for the two halves for each leg are the wrong way round. All right, but basically you stick each leg, the two halves together, then stick a foot on. Right. Also, the instructions show that there's two holes for the legs. There isn't. There's just the one. All right, and that would have helped me, because what I did was I glued the two legs on, and then I glued the 2 feet to the legs, and then stuck him to the base, figuring that would be sufficient. All right, I had ignored what it told you to do, which is actually one of the first things you do after you've put this upper frame together is you glue in Ripley. Okay, now I didn't want to glue in Ripley. I want to paint Ripley separate and then put everything together at the end. The trouble there is that when I, hang on, let me just put my phone down and I'll attach her and lift my phone back up again. Yeah, when you go to put her in, I can get her in, but then this leg keeps popping out because the pose of the legs isn't quite right. Okay, what I should have done, but I didn't think about, was while the glue on the legs was setting, put her in and get her in position, and then just take her out at the end of it. So that's going to be a bit of an effort. I think what I'm going to have to do once I reach assembly time is glue her in and really strongly clamp that leg to stop it coming away until the glue has gone completely hard. All right, so that's Ripley and the power loader. The other thing is her 2 arms. This one is okay. All right, it basically, that slots into that big square there, so that's fine. But this one is slightly more complex in that there is a control which matches up with her arm holding it. Okay, and I've got to line them up. So I can't stick these on until everything's painted, and then when she's in and glued in, I then glue the arms on so everything matches up, and that also holds true for the back. there's this little shelf thing which sits in that slot, and on that shelf thing is this affair which joins up onto the arms, and I figure I can't put that on until I've glued the arms on and I get everything to line up. So everything's going to have to be painted separately. Oh, and the other thing is we've got the little roll bar cage which goes in the front. All right, so yeah, this is going to be trickier than I thought it would be, but hopefully it will be worth it. So next step then is blue tack these all down to card, and I'm going to spray all these power loader bits are going to be in grey, same as the people, and also I think Wraithbone, which gives me a basis for their flesh tones. All right, the Queen I'm going to leave in the grey. I've got to talk about colour schemes in the next bit. I primed the Queen yesterday in Halford's Grey Primer, and immediately went on my social media to say how Halford's Grey Primer is my primer of choice and has been since the 1980s. But recently they've changed the makeup of it, whereas before it was like a mid-grey, dried very quickly and pretty much odorless. Their new one is a lot lighter, takes longer to dry, and it stinks to high heaven. And thanks to the people who have replied to that, it seems they've switched over to a solvent-based one, which I'm not keen on at all, and I won't be using anymore. And thanks also to the folk who suggested I go to the Range here in the UK, because they still do the old style, although it's renamed High Coat. All right, so I'm going to give them a go. Thanks everyone for all your input and comments. All right, so there she is in grey primer, and the question now is what colour to paint her. And of course, this is the problem you run into all the time on Aliens, in that James Cameron lit the sets with colours. So do you go for the colour it appears in the film, which seems to be like a blue colour, and I've seen people paint the Queen Alien blue before, metallic blue, or do you go more with what the actual full size or puppet version was, right? And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a nod from Bob Burns' book. Bob Burns' book I'm going to do a feature on at some point, but Bob Burns was the owner of the large puppet, and this is the large puppet, and as you can see it is a mid to dark grey, right? But I also want an element of the blue lighting as well. So I've been to my Games Workshop and I've come up with this Incubi Darkness, which is a bluey grey, and I'm going to put that on and see what that looks like. All right, and then yeah, all the other bits are in white primer, so you can see better the detail. All right, all in white primer. There's the power loader. Looking at photos of the power loader, it seems to be quite a lightish, mildish yellow. And for that, I'm going to use Phalanx yellow and see how that looks, okay? So we're off on a way with the figures. I've had to try and mix up anyway, the same shade of blue-grey that I did for Ripley first time round. All right. Bishop, I'm doing him in a blue. I think it's a bit more of a grey blue, so I might have to, in the film, so I might have to rethink that. There's his torn half version. Yeah, and then we've got the power loader. I did think at first the yellow was a bit too light, but when it's washed down, see, that's it unwashed with Nuln Oil, Agrax Earth shade. There it is with a shade on. It actually comes out quite well. It appears light, but the the Agrax Earth shade tones it right down. So we're underway there. It's picking out all the details nicely. All right, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with that color. What was it called? Let's bring that in again. No, that's that's Bishop's Blue. There it is. Incubi Darkness. It's very strange. This is the color you get with one coat. It's a bit blotchy, but I don't mind that. I had a white metal Queen Alien back in the late 80s, a garage kit, I think from Comic Miniatures, and I painted it some sort of like Humbrol enamel, which was a colour very similar to this, but I'm quite liking this. Next thing though is to put on some Nuln Oil to darken all the recesses, and then I can start dry brushing that and then a lighter version of that back up. So yeah, we're certainly getting there. All right, so pretty happy with how the Queen has come out. That's a fair representation of the colour she appears to be in many of the scenes in the film. The big question now is, what do I do about the teeth? Because her teeth, of course, brilliantly were clear, weren't they? Of course, how do you represent clear teeth on a model this size? You paint them white or you paint them cream, and neither of which are gonna be okay. So I'm gonna have to go with the silver route. All right. So yeah, she's nearly done. I'm painting the padded area of the power loader, even though you're not going to see it. And soon, very soon now, Ripley there is going to be ready to go in. All right. And I'm thinking once I've done the back of her head, I might as well glue her in, because once she's glued in, then I can paint the rest. I've got a nice painting handle. The power loader becomes a painting handle, doesn't it? All right, so that's that. Be back soon. So I think this will be the last video before completion. I've just got to put some Nuln Oil on the metallic bits. I'm not really looking forward to doing the black chevrons on the outside of the grabbers, but we're almost there with that one. Almost done with Ripley and Newt. I've just got to, luckily I wrote down somewhere the colour mix to do the Brown Bess substitute for the pulse rifle, but we're almost there. Oh yeah, we've got to do a rebox as well. Bishop, just got to tidy him up, finish him off. Biggest challenge is going to be split in half Bishop. I've got to make that milky. I've never done anything milky before. That's a statement I never thought I'd ever say. So yeah, I'll come back once everything's done. Right, all finished. Now they're all built and painted, the Queen I thought was a bit small, but actually, if you imagine she's just about to grab Bishop there and ripping him in half, she's not that far off. So, okay, I'll take that back. All right, so she was a lot of fun to do. I've been umming and ahhing about whether to actually gloss her, but she's got quite a satin finish, so I think I'm going to leave her like so. Bishop, kind of like, you know, not exactly much of a challenge. Newt and Ripley are done. Yeah, this isn't strictly accurate, but I wanted the detail to pop, so yeah, there's more of a creaminess than a whiteness to everything. But that was good fun, especially getting the milk all around his mouth. So I think this is the most fun part of it. Power loader is all done. I put the chevrons on. I drew them on with a fine tip pen. So there we go. That's that set done. I don't know what to do next. The next one that was released was the rest of the Colonial Marines plus Burke. And so logically, that's the next thing that I should buy. But, you've got what, 8 or 9 Colonial Marines, and that means doing those fatigues 8 or 9 times, which might be a slog, although I might just do a couple at a time. I don't know. But I'm quite tempted to get the one after it, which is the dropship one, where you get Pharaoh and Spunkmeyer, because at least they're 2 paint jobs. Oh, and there's 4 different types of alien warriors, new alien warriors. So I might go for that, even though it's meant to come later. So we'll see. But these were a lot of fun. And I haven't, with the original board game, I haven't got all the way through all the missions yet. And I want to play all them before I then move on to the this set, because it seems, from what I can see, each time a new set comes out, there are new rules which you add to what you've already learned. So I want to get plenty of experience with the original box set before moving on to this first expansion.